Okay, so for today's video, I want to answer a question from one of the YouTube subscribers on my channel. Sometimes I do this when I have time, so don't forget to leave a comment on this video and perhaps I'll get some time to answer your comment in a future video. This comment is from a YouTube subscriber named Lacey. I'd be interested in hearing more about how you found your business partner, your thoughts on getting investment, and any potential problems to look for. This is an excellent question. This is definitely something that I struggled with in the beginning, and I do touch on this subject in my book, which I just released last week. I'll leave a link up there if you guys haven't seen that video yet. But I'll go into detail specifically on this question and kind of touch on some ideas that might help you when you're just starting out. So when I started my business, I started in my backyard in Penticton, and I invested my own money and my own time. I didn't try to approach someone from the beginning because I didn't really know what I was doing, and I didn't really feel like an investor would take me seriously, so it wasn't even on the table. All I was focused on doing was getting my business off the ground and seeing what I could do without any help. Whether or not this is the right approach to starting a business, this is how I did it. But then by having small successes, people started paying attention to what I was doing. And Thor, he's my business partner now, he was actually my wood chip supplier. So I needed wood chips to grow mushrooms on, and Thor manages the Bartlett Tree Experts division here in the Okanagan, and I was able to get wood chips from him for my mushroom business. And then eventually I was just kind of showing him what was going on in my business. I was doing mushroom trades for wood chips, so I was hooking up his crew with fresh mushrooms and Thor as well. And eventually Thor came out for a tour of my facility in my backyard in Penticton, and he was blown away. He was impressed with what I was doing, but he saw how much I was struggling, and he really liked the idea, but he knew I needed help. So I didn't even ask him. That fall of my first year, he approached me and he sat me down and said, would you consider partnering and moving your business to Summerland? He happened to have 4 acres on ALR land, agriculture zoned land, which was very appropriate for my business. I was growing my mushrooms in a urban residential area. I wasn't sure if it was legal. I was just doing it because I was so fascinated by growing mushrooms. And now I had someone approach me that wanted to take my idea and expand it on agriculture zoned land, and he was willing to become a 50-50 partner and invest in my idea, but also transform what I started into something really awesome. So for me, I got really lucky. I seized the opportunity for that partnership. I wrote a business plan, which I talk about in my book, and we got a $100,000 loan to start the business. Now, that's my story, but I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think investors aren't going to take you seriously unless you have some skin in the game. You need to be showing that you're willing to risk it all because you believe in an idea so strongly that you're going to start bringing attention to yourself if you start succeeding. So that's what I did. And fast forward now to 2018, we still didn't have it all figured out. And my investor, he got me started, but there was still a lot of stuff that had to be figured out because growing mushrooms is tough, and it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of money. And I was a little naive in what I knew back then, and my partner didn't really know specifically all the nuances of mushroom farming. He just liked the idea, and he had a little bit of background in farming and also a background in starting a business. But as far as like growing mushrooms and scaling up the business, that was really all up to me. All he could do was kind of take my ideas and kind of tweak them and make them better, but ultimately I had to figure everything out. And then we had to take on an investor a couple years later to keep going. And again, same situation. All of the work was kind of laid out on the table. We had built this foundation for this really successful idea, and our investor recognized what we were doing but realized that we were underfunded and we sold 20% of our company to keep going, and that was like enough to bring us up to the next level where we are here today. And now we're fully funded. We've been able to organically grow the business. We've diversified in a lot of different ways to continuously bring in revenue streams. But the point is when I started, all I did was read a bunch of books. I read Paul Stamets' Growing Gourmet and Medicinal, read Trav Cotter's book. I was inspired by mycelium running, and then I did a lot of YouTubing and just a lot of internet searching. And then eventually I just started buying a lot of stuff, and that's how I got started. But if I approached an investor in the beginning with just an idea and no collateral, no one's going to give me any kind of investment. Like, why would they buy into what I was doing? So I think it's necessary if you're looking to start, number one, what can you do with your finances? Because you really need to establish a track record of how to get started. And if you need financing down the road, investors are going to want to see what you've done. And if you go to the bank, they're going to want a business plan, and they're going to need a reason to invest in your business. And they're still going to need collateral. We had to put up Thor's house to secure a loan for our business loan, and that's not going to be any different for any other business. You're going to have to come up with something that's going to secure the loan. A bank is not just going to give you money because they think your idea is great. And you know, it's the only other solution is finding an angel investor who has a lot of money, who really believes in your idea, and they're willing to put equity in the company, or you're willing to set up some kind of investment interest deal. There's lots of different options to get into, and really all you need to do is search on the internet to see what's available. But the point is you need to start on your own, especially in such an experimental mushroom business idea like I had in 2012. So a lot of great things can happen, but you really just got to put in the work. And as an entrepreneur, you got to be willing to put in your time, your money, and not be afraid to fail. And if you start succeeding, people are going to notice. Anyways, I hope that helps answers your question. Leave your comments below, guys, if you want to see more videos like this. We'll talk to you in the next video.